Alrighty guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at this shrine. This is definitely my first time recording this video. Alright, so first of all I can tell you it's an alright average shrine. We've got Iron Maiden, we have Make Your Choice, we got Object of Obsession, and we got Aftercare. Iron Maiden is probably one of the better perks for Huntress in terms of it gives her the effect of an add-on. If you remember a little while ago, a Huntress could run Sloppy Butcher, which would give her the effect of a green add-on, which she gets on her hatchets. However, that no longer is the case, as on-hit effects are no longer applied to M2s. Iron Maiden allows her to reload faster, and if somebody jumps out of a locker, they will scream, revealing their location. So if they're hiding from barbecue and chili, you can generally see which direction they are as well. So it's not a bad perk for Huntress. You could also run out the Doctor, as of the new shocking animation, could catch people off. Apart from that, I don't think there's much good use for Iron Maiden. I personally wouldn't run it on my Huntress for faster reload. There is a yellow add-on that'll allow you to do it as well. They do stack together, but all in all, I feel there's just too many better options on the table nowadays with some really good perks, such as Monitor and Abuse, for example, will allow you to get closer. Even though your Lullaby has a long range, you can drop your heartbeat down to 16 meters and get a pretty good jump on some people. If we're going to have a look at the next perk, it is going to be Make Your Choice. Make Your Choice is going to allow you to have a target who unhooks as long as you're outside of 32 meters. While the unhook animation is happening, the player that unhooked the survivor on the hook will now have the exposure status on them for 40, 50, and 60 seconds. This means they will go down in 1M1 from any killer. It does not affect your on-hit effects, therefore a Huntress, a Demogorgon, a Pig, Dash. None of these hits will down somebody in one hit. However, all the M1s will. A Nurse blinking an M1 will down you in one hit as well, because her ability does not cause any form of damage. It causes rotation, and then she M1s, so that comes from the damage as well. Not a bad perk. I would highly recommend picking this up depending on which killers you want to main. Very, very powerful on people like Freddy Krueger, very powerful on people like Demogorgon, but at the same time, you do have better options on the table. It is a DLC perk. If you haven't purchased the Pig DLC, she is one of the weaker DLCs, but it's actually kind of a cute perk. I'm not gonna lie. She also comes with Surveillance as well, which is another really good perk, but it's up to you if you want to buy the DLC or not. I do think it's a nice perk. Good touch. Object of Obsession, by far one of the strongest perks in Dead by Daylight when used correctly. To the untrained eye, Object of Obsession looks like a really bad perk, but to somebody with a lot of experience in the game, you'll be able to see the true potential and value in this perk, especially if you are in a Swift. So what is so good about Object of Obsession? Object of Obsession is going to allow you to see the killer's aura when you look in his direction, but if he looks back, he's going to see your aura. However, there are some obvious range differences that, as you can see on the perk, they change based on how high your tier is of the perk. You're going to be able to see the killer a couple of additional meters. In this case, at tier 1, you're going to be able to see the killer 12 meters before he can see you. You can see him at 56 meters, he can see you at 44 meters. It's very hard to get their grasp of how long that range is. You can also run a perk called Soul Survivor, which is also a lore teachable, which is when your teammates start dying, it reduces killer's aura reading abilities. That being said, this gives a killer an aura reading ability, and it gives yourself an aura reading ability, so it'll eventually block out. If all three teammates are dead, you can see the killer throughout the entire board, and he will not be able to see you. So it can be very strong. However, remember, when he gets within your heartbeat, you're not going to be able to see him. Aftercare. Aftercare is a pretty cute perk when used correctly. I don't think it's a strong perk at all. It is pretty much permanent bond, max range on any target that heals you, or you heal, or you hook save, or unhook saves you. Okay, so what does that mean? If you're in a slug in dying state, or if you're lying on the ground and I tap up heal you real quick, this is going to allow me to know where you are at all times, and you're going to know where I am at all times. It gives us a bond. It allows me to link with 1, 2, and 3 people, so I can see my entire team as long as I've healed them or hook saved them. However, they can only see me. They can't see each other. So it's not like everybody's linked. I'm linked to everyone, and everyone's linked to me, but they're not linked together, if that makes sense. So think of it as me and then 4 chains coming off of me that everyone's connected with. They're not connected together, but they're all connected to me. That also being said, I personally prefer Kindred over Aftercare, but Kindred isn't a teachable, and Aftercare is on the shrine. Another thing to keep in mind with this is when you are hooked, you lose all the psychic bonds, whatever you want to refer to it as. You lose all your psychic bonds that you are connected with people. Okay, so that really sucks. So if the killer downs you, puts you on a hook, you're connected with, I don't know, Jeff, Nia, you just lost both connections, and now you need to have to heal them again or get them to heal you. So it is a little bit of a double-edged sword. If you get caught often, I don't recommend it. At the same time, it works really well in a Swift. Realistically, I would rather have better together, and maybe something like Prove Thyself to get people to group up, but at the same time, that's 2 perks for 1 perk's job, and then that's leading into doing gens at a ridiculous speed, so I'd probably step away from doing that as well. Not a bad perk all in all though, so if I was going to buy anything on the shrine and I didn't have any DLCs, keep in mind all 4 of these perks are DLC perks. If I wanted to play a lot of the Huntress, I would highly recommend Iron Maiden. If I wanted to play a lot of the Wraith without any DLCs, I'd recommend Make Your Choice. You know, it can work on Billy, but it's a bit of a why are you running that kind of perk. Works really well on the Nurse as well. Both pretty good perks, considering they could have been worse. Let's be real here. You could have had Brutal Strength and Enduring or something like that you're not going to get a lot of value on. This being said, we're going to move down to Object. I got my Swift team ready to rock and roll. Object, I would highly recommend buying 2. If you don't own Lori, it's going to give you good... It's going to give you good pressure regardless of the kind of situation you're on. As long as you can see the killer and you can work on a generator, you're going to be applying a lot of pressure towards the killer, and he's going to have to come and answer you. If he's setting up bear traps, you know exactly where they are. You're working on a gen, he has to answer you. You can see everything and you get so much information. Very strong perk if you're good. If you're not good at running, or you're not good at looping, this is probably one of the worst perks you can possibly run. But if you know your jungle gyms, you know your maps, this is one of the highest skill gap perks in the game. Very frustrating to versus killer, but at the same time, very rewarding for a good survivor. And then obviously Aftercare if I had enough shard points. Personally, I'm not going to buy anything because I own them all on this account. I don't think they're worth the 2,000 shards, especially when a new killer is just around the corner. I'd rather save my shards for the shrine when the new killer comes out so I can get additional blood points and level up the new killer. But yeah, guys, if you don't own these perks, this would be very good for killer. This would be good if you wanted to main Huntress, and this would be good if you want to hit a skill gap as survivor. But you have to hit that gap before you run this perk, or you're going to be put in a sticky situation. Alrighty guys, if you're watching this one over at YouTube, that's all for the Shrine this week. Don't hesitate to come to the live streams where I stream Dead by Daylight 5 days a week. I also do educational killer and survivor content, so it'd be good to have you in here. If you think you guys know everything about Dead by Daylight, that's great. You can help me teach the people that do not. Alrighty guys, I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.